Hello, welcome to the Made in the South podcast, episode 3.
3 already?
Mm-hmm. It's brought to you by your favorite mother and son duo, Ben and Lisa Harmon. This is our first time talking in about a week. I mean, we texted a little bit, but I haven't spoken to you much in the last 6 or 7 days.
Well, we went to Savannah. I'm on spring break, and we just got back, and I try not to tell Ben too much what's going on so that we could talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah, I want to be able to react to it genuinely and be inquisitive and not sound fake and forced. Right. So I know you all went to a fort while you were down there, but beyond that, I don't know much else.
Well, the first day, Savannah is known for its riverfront because right on the coastline of Georgia. There's also several, if you aren't familiar with Georgia's coastlines, coastal islands. And one of the coastal islands that's right 5 minutes from our condo was Tybee Island.
Oh, nice.
So right on the Atlantic.
That's very convenient. I know when we go to the beach, I start being I want to be near the coastline because I hate having to travel 20 minutes to get to the sand.
This is a little more of a journey, but we weren't as concerned about being right on the beach because it was a little chilly. It was more like walking along the beach, not getting in the water.
Well, it's still spring.
I know. It was still good.
I think Dad was telling me that he saw a few folks out in the water, probably below 40 degrees. I'm like, I'm good.
I'm just guessing they've never seen the ocean. They're like, I got to get in while I'm here.
Maybe. I mean, I've done it on dares, a bunch of friends. I know freshman year in college, I went to the beach with a few people.
Right.
And we jumped in the water. It was cold, but we jumped in the water for a few minutes just because.
This was definitely been a polar plunge if you've gotten it. But it was great to walk. It was the nice white sandy beaches. Took the shoes off. Mm-hmm. I did.
That's the best feeling.
I had to touch the water at least while I was there.
Yeah, I know you and I love to just have our feet in the water, walking across the coastline, picking up shells.
I did pick up a few shells.
I was going to ask you if you found any.
There was maybe 20 people on the beach. So,
that's not bad. That's pretty quiet and peaceful.
So many shells were left, and I did get a few.
Because I know some years in the past we've gone and there's been almost no shells, all picked clean. There's some people occupying the beach, but kind of nice to have your own beach to yourself.
The name of that beach is Tybee Island, and there truly are islands like Tybee Island. When I was in college, there's a research island called Sapelo Island. It's on down the Georgia coast.
Okay.
And then there's Cumberland Island where you can camp. St. Simon's Island.
I didn't realize there were so many islands close to Savannah. That's awesome.
They each have their own character.
Are you able to visit them?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The only way you can get to Sapelo is by ferry boat. And
that's cool.
University of Georgia has a research facility there. So when I was in college, I took a class so that I could go to Sapelo Island.
You went to Georgia University, right?
Yeah, that's what my mom always said. I can say that now. I'm like, no, Mom, it was North Georgia.
It's an old joke in our family.
But she wanted it to be university. It was in the university system, Mom, but it was not the University of Georgia.
Little pause before you walk through what you all did.
Yes.
What are you sipping on right now?
Well, my lovely son has made me this, you can't see it, of course, but this lovely drink that's got a Caribbean feel to it.
I'll probably post a photo on our Instagram page.
It's kind of red. It's got orange in it. Let's see. Did you put the spicy rum in it?
I put my father calls it banana rum, but it's bamboo rum.
A bamboo or babu?
Bamboo, B-A-M-B-U.
I always call it bamboo, but
I don't know that's how you pronounce it, but it's spelled B-A-M-B-U.
It's amazing. It does taste like banana rum, but it's a spicy rum.
It's
delicious.
It's great by itself as well. But yeah, it's
delicious. You should put the ingredients or the recipe, as I would call it, on
I can do that.
Like Facebook or Instagram.
I think
it's delicious.
I'll probably post a photo of what I use, the actual bottles that I used as well, and I'll put it online.
That helps me when I'm I'm going to the store and going, what is it?
Because I'll tell you the name, and you're like, what? Here's a picture of it. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Right. So you can locate it on the shelf.
Yeah, but walk me through your week, because I know you all were busy the entire time. So walk me through.
We got there. It was like a 7-hour drive. So
did you stop on the way down, or did you go straight there?
Yeah, we stopped for those lunch and potty breaks. I would have stopped more, but my husband likes to get there.
Normal stops. I didn't know if you all stopped to see anywhere on the way down.
No, absolutely not. No, we did the main business of eating, pottying, and gas.
I'm sure our listeners would love to hear about our potty habits,
our
restroom habits.
Yes. Well, they'll let you know you're not alone if that's your situation. I like the journey, but it was a good destination.
So y'all left in the morning and got there around
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock? Okay, it's not bad.
At the grocery store, because we like to save money.
The exciting stuff.
So I was glad they had a Publix so I could get my key lime pie, which they do have an amazing key lime pie. Don't bother with the small key lime pie. Don't even bother with that. Get the big key lime pie.
Small one's one bite.
It's like one bite. Maybe two people. You could share it with two people, or you get 8 slices in the big one.
Mm-hmm.
You'll not be sorry.
Yeah, it's great if you need a quick pie. You don't have time to make it yourself. It's great to pop in and pick up.
And I didn't know at the time. We grabbed some stuff for sandwiches and your basic milk and orange juice and all those good things. And later, we decided we wanted to have a picnic.
Oh.
So we did. We packed what we had and took it with us.
Well, that's adorable.
It was lovely.
What'd y'all eat on your picnic?
Sandwiches, chips,
Normal.
drink.
Gotcha.
But it was...
Was it a park, or I can't remember where you ate at?
This was later in the trip. The last day of the trip, we went to a wildlife preserve. We visited a place. Let's see, I wrote it down because it's kind of hard to remember. Oatland. It's called Oatland Wildlife Refuge, and they have 100 acres they set aside for educational.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a 2-mile hike if you're in there, kind of flat. Of course, everything's flat there, but flat. And it takes you out on boardwalk, across the marshes, through the marshes, overlooks. There were a lot of animals, but the main beauty to me was being in the marsh.
Okay, nice.
It's gorgeous. I highly recommend it. It's only $5.
That's not bad at all.
And you got to see like 80 different animals.
So it's kind of like a little mini safari park walk, and okay.
You can only access, it's like a 2-mile walk as you meander
Now, are all the animals like swamp related animals, or are they just like a quote unquote zoo type thing?
That's a good question. They some are rescue animals.
Oh, they're always the best.
Like, I think they found somebody had like 3 cougars. They had some cougars there.
Okay.
I know. And they had found them and rescued them and put them there. And then we walked up on like alligator, like swamp, marshland and swamp. And we walked up like, oh, that's so nice. They put a plastic alligator there. So at least the kids, when they can come through, they can see it. And they're not like, oh, where is something? And
Take some photos.
Yeah. We take some photos. We walk across at a lot of, the boardwalk material. So we walk across, and the alligator raises his head and puts it back down.
Hold on 1 minute. Boardwalk material? Meaning like wood?
Yes.
Like planks? Boardwalk material?
As opposed to...
Was it a square?
As opposed to the hard ground with the roots that were everywhere.
Oh my gosh, that broke me. Oh.
Boardwalk material. Like traditional boardwalk. They had a lot of that. And on the planks, they had... Different families had supported... building the planks, so they had their names.
Oh my gosh, that's really cute.
What do you call it?
Yeah,
etched into each plank, so you knew.
And printed or whatever.
And printed, yes. And
if it's wood, they probably like chiseled it or whatever.
Right. All I could think was Etch-a-Sketch, and I knew that wasn't right.
Shake.
It wasn't Etch-a-Sketch.
I'm sure there's some kids out there who have no idea what an Etch-a-Sketch is.
I know. It's like it was carved in. So that was fun. Like by the cougar plantation might be, hey, cougar, and by the fox, that foxes, it was Fox Realty. So it was.
Oh, okay, I get it. I get it.
Charming.
That is charming.
And then after we did that, we went to a plantation. And it had like, oh gosh, I think what I read was like 500 acres, part of this plantation. Now, most of it was there they were donated to the state of Georgia back in like 1970, I think I read. And they were using it as a nature preserve. And they had like 2 or 3, like probably 4 or 5 miles that you can hike. So you saw the old homestead. It's called the Worm Slough.
So it's like a state park?
Yes.
Okay.
There are so many parks. And again, you could walk out. They had the trails go out to the marsh. We stopped, I was teasing my husband that was our second walking park of the day, that this tour included a picnic lunch, because they have a picnic ground there. And we ate our lunch. Walked around, saw the museum. Now, one thing I missed, if you do go, is the family still owns their original house. It's a huge mansion, but it's private.
Okay.
And I was kind of I like to look after, go to a park and go, well, where's the house? What happened to the house? Yeah. It is still there, but you can't tour it.
It's off limits to the public.
Right. But you can see it, and I didn't do the looky-loo, so.
I do love, like, older architecture from, like, whether it be, like, Victorian, Elizabethan, Roman, Greek, American history as well.
Well, speaking of that, my son, there's several squares in Savannah.
Segway
time. They call them squares, and it's like small parks, but they're literally a square. So every few streets would be another square. Big oak trees with the Spanish moss, the benches.
Well, I know like the word square used to be an actual
old houses, columns, just what you'd want.
Yeah.
Like
I
beautiful.
I can picture it in my head.
Well, we toured one of the houses, so it was one of the original like rich people of the town, which I can remember the name of. But
It's fun.
I can't remember the name, but it was a beautiful home. The family, the parents that lived there, the son, the daughter. They had an old place downstairs because they didn't have refrigeration back then. And no refrigeration, so they had a place called the Ice House, and that was down in the basement. Of course, I like to read all the signs. And they had, on your phone, you just did a QR code, and then you could pull up each, like, listening spot.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of modern technology, so you could either listen to it or read on your phone, and it would tell you everything about that room you were in.
Oh, that's awesome. It's a lot nicer than have that little, like, tape to listen to
Yeah,
while you
and
walk
put the
around.
headphones on. And now, if you go, one thing I would remind you is check your times in all these places, because this was a first come, first serve. And if we'd gotten there earlier, they actually have reenactors.
Oh, that's cool.
The house.
I remember,
So,
was it second grade?
yeah.
We did that reenactment place.
Yes.
I forget where it was. I was so young, I don't remember it much. But I remember they had people who, like, give me the tour in character. And one of my friends was sitting on
I can't remember.
an old school water closet, but she didn't know that.
Ah.
And she gave her a hard time, and she freaked out, and it was...
Guess what you're sitting on? But in the square, there are several houses that you can tour. I recommend doing this one. It was a house tour, first come, first serve. Once again, check your hours. And then attached to it, you could go to 2 different museums.
Okay.
So that was something that we don't typically do. And so we're like, sure, we're going to be cultural. And we went to the 2 museums. They had statues and picture,
Paintings and things.
oil on canvas and acrylic and gold front,
Were the paintings from the time?
No,
Oh,
they were
so
from all the way.
Recreations?
The person, one of them was built to house, but the other one was a house that was donated to the city of Savannah.
Yeah.
And then the curator he's been doing it for 100, he's not still alive, sorry, but for like 100 years, he'd been going over to Europe and different places and getting art and bringing it back.
Oh, okay. That's cool. That's also cool.
I mean, I was
That's
like,
a nice
we're being
little...
so cultural.
Yeah, I know. It's a nice little cultural gym to go check out. So it was only $5?
Yep. Now that one was $25.
Oh, okay.
$5 for the wildlife, but included all 3.
Okay.
So we felt like that was a good deal.
What'd you all do next?
Oh, well, I don't know if let's see. We did so much, I tried to write it down because it was hard to.
I mean, y'all were there for, what, 6 days?
Yes. Yeah, we had 2-day travel and then 4 days traveling. I highly recommend go to the JW Marriott. I didn't know. I was like, what's the big deal? Well, it's right on the riverfront. It has 3 huge sections. And then we went to a rooftop bar. So you get a great vantage point right on the Savannah River.
Okay.
And I got to see my barge.
Nice.
With the container ships on, which I'll put a picture up because I have to admit, when I saw it, I thought, it's not going to make it under the bridge. I mean, it was so tall. And I'm watching it like it's going to knock the bridge down.
Well,
and it didn't.
Yeah,
it didn't.
Speaking of that, I was reading somewhere.
It didn't.
It's either a video or an article that I read. It's like, I can't remember what ship it's called, but some sort of ship. It's designed for its height, like the max height of the ship, be perfectly in line with where the bridge is.
That was
created to go back right.
I mean, when it was close to
it.
us, as it was going by our table where we got our beautiful cocktail, and
What you have?
we had a rum coconut. I don't know what else was in it. It was like a.
It was alcohol.
It was rum and coconut and all the lovely things. It was delicious, delicious. It was like a dessert drink, and I really just went up to see. I just wanted to be up top, looking at the river, and it was high. They have a couple of rooftop bars on the riverside.
Okay.
So kind of check those out. They have lots, as I like, lots and lots of shops, which I was kind of tired. I would have done more poking in and out of the shops.
Were they like antique shops or just anything you could imagine?
It was had coffee shop and candy shop and clothing shop and.
You could spend 3 days there.
Right. You could have just shopped. I would have liked shopping. Let me think if there's anything else I saw. Now, you could just spend your time in Savannah, get your hotel if you want to, right there on the riverfront. Walk, because the whole entire downtown Savannah is set up in squares. Like It's made for walking. But
Okay.
if you don't want to walk, you're like, oh, I just can't do it. They have free. It's called DOT transportation, and it comes every 10 minutes, and it goes the length of downtown Savannah all the way out to the edge of they call it the historic district.
Okay. It's very pedestrian friendly.
Yeah, so that's a good tip is you have your free. They have tours you can take. We did that several years ago. That might be your first way to go.
That's what I recall. When
It's
we
a
went.
hop-on, hop-off tour.
I know we walked in a couple of nice old churches. They were beautiful.
Yeah, so I tried this time, since we had done that, it was a one-day trip when we were at Hilton Head. I had tried to do something different. That was my go-to for the minutes. Oh! Let me tell you the last thing. Go ahead.
I know about Dad's favorite place. Going to a fort, right?
Well, yes, that was the last.
Oh, okay. I ruined the surprise.
It was my last one. Fort Pulaski.
Pulaski. Is that in Savannah or is it outside Savannah?
It's like you're in downtown historic Savannah. You go buy it on your way to Tybee Island.
Okay.
And it's $10. And we got our first senior citizen national park pass. We're kind of excited about that. Didn't even know it was a thing. You get it when you turn 62. Everybody in your car gets to go in free. As you get to know me more, I like a bargain. But Fort Pulaski, they had restored it, and it had been made with, I wrote it down because it was crazy, 25 million bricks. Because they wanted thick
Is it 25 million?
Million.
Wow.
Bricks.
That's a lot of bricks.
The history is crazy history. There were cannons. It's where the Confederates, originally it was made to defend Savannah, because it's right there at the peak, and they don't want to cut off that port. And it was like, after War 1812, I think they built it.
A little U.S. history.
Got a little U.S. history in there, and then the Confederates took it over, and then a year later, the Union took it over, and until the war was over, they occupied and kind of cut off the mouth of the Savannah River. But if you do want to go to the fort, there's the rooms, and they've kind of tried to recreate what it was like.
As best as possible.
Yeah. They even have there was a fig tree that was put there 100 years ago.
Wow.
Still producing figs.
Did you bring the tree back with you?
I wanted it because we have our own fig tree, but
it produced last year.
100.
Yeah. That's
because they were trying to feed. And it was inside their, what used to be a drill field.
Okay.
And then you have your upper part, and you can climb up, and it's just a great experience.
So my favorite thing about trips is eating great food.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, do you have a favorite thing you ate while you were down there?
To be honest, we were trying to keep it low budget, to be honest.
You did a lot of cooking in the
So we did a lot of, eat breakfast, which is fine. We ate breakfast in the room. We did a couple of picnics. We hit Joe's Crab Shack, which was amazing.
There's a story there that we'll tell you another podcast, but there's a good episode. Or
and that was
not episode, but a good...
and I know there's great restaurants there, but I'm going to be honest with you folks. I wasn't going to pay $45 for a bucket of crab legs. That just wasn't.
I mean, if you're going there to splurge, maybe, but going there just to have a quick little trip with your husband, have a little good time.
We did more. We went mostly for the exploring and the checking out
the sights and the experience, less so
I'm not sure. It's another place we went that I liked very much. I was telling you a little bit before. I think my favorite place was the Wormslow is how you say it? Plantation. Wormslow, I know. Plantation. And it had a mile long drive. When you drove in, it was a mile long. The trees that were originally there back whenever, a long time ago, the oak trees are still there. So you go underneath all these oak trees for a mile. They're on both sides. Oh.
I love when nature is built into a pathway or into the architecture itself.
It was more beautiful than I thought it would be. Several films have been filmed in Savannah. You got Forrest Gump, his bench.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
The Garden of Good and Evil. They talked about that all the time.
You know what we should do for our next podcast?
And Royal Pains was filmed there too. That's one of your favorites.
Royal Pains was?
And some episodes filmed there.
You know what I think we should do for our next podcast?
What?
Since we just went to Savannah?
Yes.
We should watch Forrest Gump this week and then talk about it next week.
Oh yeah, because they took the bench, because it's so famous, the one he sat on with his box of chocolates, and moved it into their museum. But the spot, of course, is still there. So
yeah, that's.
I mean, you can still stand in the spot.
Yeah, I think we watched a documentary on it. What, last year, 2 years ago? Didn't we watch a documentary on Forrest Gump?
I'm gonna say I don't remember, but maybe we did.
She's watched about 1,000 in the last 2 years.
I'm a documentary junkie, so.
If you have any recommendations, feel free to send them our way. That way we can check them out.
I love. But there's the list. I would bore you if I did. There's 20 different films are filmed there, and I have a friend that's a sound engineer that he bases inside of Savannah because there's so much
Oh, okay. Cool.
film industry down there.
That's pretty cool. So is there anywhere else y'all went while you were down there?
Let's see. I told you we went to the Public and got key lime pie, right?
Yes. That's the important one.
I think that was it. I really enjoyed everything. We had the island, the fort, the square. We did 2 days down at Riverfront because it was just so beautiful. And there's so much to see.
Yeah. I mean, you know me. I love anything nature, natural. Anything that involves nature, I'm all for. So
I must admit, the last day my body kind of hurt. Like I was like, oh, my body hurts because we had walked.
I mean, you all got home, and so I got home from work, and they arrived right behind me, and
so I can't move.
They're getting in the car. They're like, Ben, we need help. We can't walk. I'm like, I've been working all week while you're all on vacation.
Help, bring the groceries in.
And my luggage, I'm like,
not the groceries, the luggage. Yeah.
I opened the trunk full of bags. I'm like, oh, of course.
Well, only one of those was my husband. The rest was mine. So.
Yeah. But you bring food, too. It's not just your personal bags. You have snacks.
I had to have my coffee and my snacks. And
DVDs for the car ride.
Yeah. Audiobooks.
I've gotten more appreciative. It's still a pain when you get back and you're tired, but I was a little fresh.
We appreciate the help.
I didn't want to notice when I was last week when I was editing our podcast from last week and the interview. I was like, man, I sounded so tired. Remember how last week I was so exhausted? My voice sounded like it was very rushed. It wasn't methodical. I sounded tired. I was like, I'm gonna try a little more. A little more pizzazz.
A little more pep. I will say I encourage everyone. I know if you've listened to our last week's podcast, there's still a few tickets left for the grilled cheese dinner.
Yeah, tonight, which won't matter for our podcast because I'm getting my ticket tonight, and this comes out tomorrow. So.
Oh, you're getting your ticket? Okay. See, I'm gonna do the tasting, and I think you were gonna do the grilled cheese, right?
Yeah.
And today I did do a mixed cheese, like Amy talked about, on my cheese toast. It was amazing.
Yeah, I know. For lunch I made a roast beef, cheese, and an onion type sandwich.
I mean, Amy brought. I didn't told you this last time. Amy brought us some cheese, and we have finished off the last bite. We stretched it. But I have to go in for more.
But I think this episode we're gonna cut it a little shorter than usual because I know I got a few things I have to do today, and we're both wiped. But did you have any jokes that you thought of or that you heard while you're down there or anything that you picked up?
Well, I did lose a wooden shoe in my toilet.
A wooden shoe in your toilet?
Yeah, it was clogged.
I heard that and I knew it was something about that, but I was like, it can't be that straightforward. I'm like, oh, you got me.
What about you?
So this I was thinking of history and stuff like that. So I tried to find a joke that was a little history based. Archaeologists say that Roman cement was much stronger than cement today. But we still need some concrete evidence to prove that.
You can't see the slow roll, not the slow roll.
Can't see the eye roll or the slow clap.
Yeah, the slow clap is right here.
But yeah, I think that's wrap it up for this episode. I know that I'm a little exhausted. I've been working and I've been dog sitting and helped you all unpack and all that stuff.
Had to make his own coffee.
Yeah. So. I actually didn't make any coffee.
I know. I was just giving you a hard time.
So I had coffee at work, so I get a coffee there sometimes. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up. Guys, we appreciate you all listening in. We've every week we see more and more support following our channel and watching it.
We appreciate it. If you'll just, I used to call it subscribe, but on podcast it's follow.
Yeah, follow. We are not on Apple yet. We are waiting. It should be up in a few days, but we're on Spotify, Google, Audible.
And Audible Music is the free part.
But you can also find us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Instagram, we are Made in the South Pod. Facebook, we are Made in the South Podcast.
.com. Right?
Well, for Facebook, it doesn't matter about the .com.
Never mind about that.
But our website is madeinthesouthpodcast.com. So.
And if you have questions, send them in. If you're curious, like some of the food items, especially we've talked a lot about snacks and drinks. Those
we always will.
We love snacks. Those recipes are on the Facebook and on the podcast. Not the podcast, the Instagram.
On the square.
They're on the square that you touch at the purple square.
All right, guys, we appreciate it. You all have a great weekend and a great week. And always,
see you later. Be kind to everyone.
Bye, guys.